Welcome back, Great Awakening. Today's interview with Mary Beaver at Adana of Soul on Telegram is about the alchemical mirror and portal numbers. Yes, it's about the old school alchemy and numbers and how they function. Mary Beaver gets to go through all of these posters that she's given to you for free on Telegram if you're interested. But I will go over them and put all them together. So while we're discussing these numbers and some of these incredible moments, they will be on this video. If you have any questions, please put in the comments or go on to Telegram to hear us live. Mary Beaver does give you the PDFs. I do print out a lot of these things and I go through them so that we don't miss a beat.
Fortunately, we're going to jump. I'll try to be better next time. But page 10, because this is where it start talking about when you first start waking up and you start seeing numbers. And the very first question anybody asks is, why am I seeing, this number? And the example was 1111. A lot of us have seen 111. So these are just signs that you've woken up. You've gotten the spark to start your ascension. And so it has some good information in it. Let me know when you get there. So if anybody wants to follow the poster that's in the chat, they all say mirror numbers, the awakening bridge, but this one's from 3D to 5D. And it'll have two circular bubbles on either side. One says 3D density and the other one says 5D unity. And it'll be the box pictures. So number 1 says pattern shock. Why am I seeing 1111 everywhere? So again, some people see 111, 101. These are just numbers that you'll start seeing when you first wake up. And we don't find the numbers. You're not supposed to go looking for them because they're universal codes. They're signs. And these ones, and I'll go into in another one because the angel numbers are a little longer than this grouping. These are mirror numbers, which falls under mirror alchemy, and I've talked about mirror alchemy before. The Forbidden Knowledge has a book on mirror alchemy, which should be on my webpage for a download if you guys are interested. Some of the links aren't working for some reason in my last update, so I'll go back in and make sure that one is, because it's a really good read. And it's a short read, it's not too long. The portal numbers shown to me by my friend Shannon, she was like, I feel like the ones with the 0 in the middle are portal numbers and the ones with the 1 in the middle are mirror numbers, which made sense to me. So I went in and with the source coding and broke down the numbers. And yes, I do use the AI. I know some people are freaked out about the AI, but in order to show this, I don't get too much trouble with the AI because I have the missing codes. So during this ascension, when you're ascending upward, eventually those that do ascend to the higher consciousness, you're going to see the pattern recognition in everything. Some slower than others, but when I got to a certain level of my ascension, I was given the source codes. Well, it wasn't by universal accident, but it was definitely secret society accident. I don't think the guy that gave it to me, realized what he gave me, and I didn't realize at the time either. I just knew it was some type of portal key, and the heavens didn't want me to know what it was because it was like 3 years ago. The individual that wanted me to read it said it was, given to him by the jinn, and I don't want anything to do with the jinn because they're like, they're not good people. I just recently found out they're actually shadow fallen angels, so that was an interesting turn of sequences. They're angels that fell into the shadow realm, even deeper because we're in the shadow realm, but they fell into another shadow realm of eternity. As we raise up what we knew before, we actually find the other answers for. That's also why some of the data will change, especially when you get these source codings. And I can't give it to you. It has to be given to you by somebody like one of the watchers or something during your ascension, because it can be used as a weapon, 100%, or it could be used for a divine reason that we all want to get out of this 3D nonsense when you first start waking up. So that's on page 10.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have page 10. I'm going backwards because I was looking at, okay. So page 10. We're looking at that.
After page 10, we'll scoot up to the top. So we'll do 10, and then we'll go back to the top of that one photo, the mirror numbers and the meanings.
Okay, so all right, so we're on the poster 10. So
right. Well, that's kind
like
of how you know where somebody's at, consciously. So this kind of gives you that diagram of where people are, because when they first start seeing, certain numbers like that, they're in the beginning stages. So, and those are the 444 and the 222s and 111s. Those are more of the angel numbers, which again, we'll do another segment on that later on, because that's a little bit longer, because it goes a little bit higher. Up to 3,000, I think, because there are 3,000 angels on the planet. Fallen, lost, misplaced, unguided, no hope, stuff like that. So yeah, and again, feel free to post some comments in there if you guys have, because I know a lot of people resonate with numbers. And I don't know how to break it down. Rusty, I think you do. I know Shannon does, but there are some people out there that can break down like a whole sequence of numbers, like down to the core of, oh, that's a 3 or a 9, or that comes down to an 8. And I'm like, wow, how do you do that? But yeah, it's a synchronicity. The numbers line up with events that happen. Sometimes they're warnings. Sometimes they're move forward. Sometimes they show up right when you need to like stop and think. And we're going to get into some of that with these posters, because it was really cool that and I pulled the information also from the esoteric knowledge, but I don't, again, the way that they have it written makes you want to go into the 3D further. So I put their information in with my sigil, and then I put the numbers of interest that I want to talk about that resonate with me and what I feel is a higher ascension. And then I always ask, like, how would this benefit others? Because everybody is different. Your numbers are different. Our sequences are different. Some of us don't even, code with this planet. So, again, you've got 200 species of people on the planet. So everybody's going to have different coding. Ra was actually called Ha, H-A, meaning most high, before it became demonic, which is referred to as fallen. Or used in a bad way. But again, when you wipe the fear away from knowing things, and you make peace with it, because knowledge is power. The more you know, the less you're afraid of what people do with it. Because again, you can't change sacred geometry. You can't change universal code. Everybody uses the same codes in different ways. It's just how you use it. It's the same as a gun. If the gun doesn't kill the person, it's whoever's holding it. So whoever's holding the sacred knowledge, you wield it in the way that you feel you need to wield it. So if you choose to be good, good things will happen. If you choose to be bad, well, we're trying to fight that right now, but that's what it is. So mirror numbers like 212, they supplies symbolic language and invitation to dialogue with your higher self, which also I've talked about facing true north. Make sure you're facing true north, because you're not going to lie to yourself. Your higher self is going to be there. Your higher self may play games with you. It depends on your personality. If you're a trickster, your higher self is definitely a trickster, okay? So just make sure your higher self isn't playing games with you, because down here, games can be deadly. But once you connect to your higher self, set healthy boundaries, like real healthy boundaries, because your higher self is not here. You're just a splice and experiencing a body. They don't have time, your higher self or the heavens or anybody else out there, they don't have time like we have time. We created time to experience an evolution. And so you want to make sure you're on that path of ascension. So the mirror alchemy itself is when you get to a certain point in your ascension, you're going to come up to a mirror. Every mirror in your house is alchemy. It is a portal. It can open, and you have to come to grips with yourself. Some of us see evil, some of us see good, some of us, sit in front of the Harry Potter mirror and wonder why. You can get lost in the wondering why. So the mirror allows you the opportunity to heal things And I remember growing up, I was made fun of because I had red hair. I was taller than everybody, buck tooth, freckle face. I was like a black kid in a white school in the 1920s. I got beat up all the time. People put food in, like threw food at me at lunch. I ended up sitting in the hallways by myself, and they would put gum in my hair sometimes. And some of them would twist those rubber bands up, and when I had my hair up in a ponytail, and they'd snatch it in the back of my head. So I had to have like little patches cut out. I mean, it was terrible. But I had this one teacher. I swear to God, she was esoteric, but she was amazing. A beautiful lady. And I always complained about being bullied. And she told me, she's like, if I looked in the mirror and I stopped looking at everything I hated about myself, because it wasn't me who hated me, it was what I was hearing from other people. Right? Because they made fun of me. I'm a foot taller than everybody in my class. I was called fat, Godzilla, Gigantua, like all these things because I was tall. I just have this Norwegian gene, and everybody else around me was tiny. So, and so I took their insults, but again, this is the programming, right? And their abuse, and I applied it to my own self-esteem and said, oh, I must be these things. And that's what I did, when I wasn't. So I looked in the mirror every day, and I tried to see things I liked about myself, not the things I hated about myself. And eventually, there was nothing left to hate, because I liked everything. I'm like, holy shit, I do like my red hair. I mean, who has red hair? I'm like the only one out here. Like a magic unicorn. My buck teeth, I learned how to hide my buck teeth because, growing up, I did have buck teeth. I grew into them. I had big ears back then, so that's why I wore my hair down to hide my big ears. But I grew into my ears. They're still kind of big. They're not small. But and my height, my height was always a problem because I was tall at a young age. And we made the jokes, we come from the land of the giants. So these are things you're going to come into the mirror with, because you have to come into peace with yourself before you can try to help anybody else in this world. Because if you can't help yourself, how can we help anybody, or any animal, or any grass, or frog, or whatever? Whatever your goal in life is, whatever your sanctuary may look like, you got to help you first. And because you're the reflection of what your help looks like. So if you're damaged because we allowed the 3D to continue to hurt us, we're never going to ascend up, and we can't help others. It's easier to help others because we can solve all their problems, and that's codependency. So, but the mirror numbers show you how to do that. So long story short, look in the mirror. If you've allowed the 3D, to bash up against you like tidal waves against, a cliff, and it's slowly tearing you apart, just look and find the things that you like about yourself. Doesn't matter what other people think. Matters what you think. And eventually, you're going to create calm seas, and there will be no more, banging up against the cliff and tearing you down. So, and then your 505 mirror codes they demonstrate time isn't strictly linear. The code appears before the event. So these are portal numbers. So when an event comes up, and like a car accident, or I almost got hit, that was the event. It was telling you, you've got to stop, or you got to slow down. And I hate slow people in front of me. I don't know about you guys, but road rage for a redhead, it's a thing. But I learned because sometimes I would steer around other people who were slow. And then I remember an old man told me once, and we've all heard it, don't drive faster than your angels can fly. Well, the same concept goes, don't be as reckless to where your angels can't save you. And I don't know why, but I always had car accidents happen around me. And my mom was a firefighter and EMT when I was growing up, so I learned emergency response, but I also learned it in the space programs. So I was always there at these scenes first, before medics and all these other people would get there. So I would secure these scenes without knowing what the hell I'm doing, but I'd always do it. And I thought it was because my mom supplied me with all this stuff, but I was always prepared for something. But I would always see those portal numbers, the 505s, the 404s, 101s, but those are messages, and I didn't know what those were. But then boom, there was the accident. But that could have been me, because I was only seconds between those other cars. You know what I mean? And that could be you. These are signs. These numbers find you. You just have to recognize them. When you see them, don't be so busy that you don't slow down, pull over, and try to figure out what it is you need to step away from. If a slow car gets in front of you, this is just an example. You know, there's many examples. If a slow car gets in front of you, that's your higher self's way of saying, hey, slow down, or you're going to be a part of something bigger that I can't save you from. So enjoy the scenery. It's better to get there late than dead, right? Because you actually can't get there if you're dead. So eternal mirror numbers, we know what those mean. It means it's going to be on your, what's called your final path, the final timeline, because it's eternal. So it'll be forever in your eternal presence. And then 717, I just recently started seeing the 717 when I did the angel books. Because I had to, the heavens wanted me to rewrite the dictionary of angels that the forbidden knowledge has. And I didn't free the angels, but they wanted me to give them the path with the creation sigil that I have, because I know what they do as a fallen angel, and because it says it in the book, but they have to be able to ascend as well. And I believe that they also got caught in the illusion that we're all caught in, because sometimes when you're down here for so long, you start to believe your own lies, right? So I feel like a lot of these angels that fell started to believe their own lie, and they're also stuck down here. I rewrote how they would ascend and how they would help us ascend. So together, we're all actually going to ascend. And a lot of the stuff we have to let go. All the Luciferian, the Satanism stuff, that will all be transmuted out. And we can't forgive the actions, but you got to give it to the creators. You got to let them do their final judgment on everybody else's things. We've all been affected differently, and final judgment's waiting up there for them. But these are, again, portal codes, mirror codes. Portal codes cross the zero, move through, so you can jump timelines, open doors, step through and transform. The sequence is here at the bottom of that image: 101, 202, 303, all the way to the 1001. These are kind of like rituals. So when you see certain ones, you can, say them in your head, what the other ones are, or wait for another code to show up. If you're a master at numbers, just kind of figure out what that goes down to. A lot of them go down to a specific number, 1 through 10. So, and we know that, 1 is, the first level, and then 7's completion, 8 is eternity, 9 is, I can't remember offhand what 9 is, but you get the concept. So in mirror codes, which is the X1X, is integration. You unify reflection, become the whole. So this is where you're going to transmute anything that doesn't serve your higher purpose, and you just let it go. I know it says it's easier said than done. I know a lot of people have already tried, but you didn't have this knowledge before, right? None of us did. But when we got it, it was like, oh, okay, I have used some of these things. I have tried some of these things with other people. I was like, let's give it a shot. I mean, what are we going to lose? Our minds? But, you just got to go from 4D to 5D shift. It's stewardship. Thought, emotion, instantly sculpts probability. You create consciously. So baby steps on how to become a creator. Practice protocol: stop, breathe, name it, recognize the number, acknowledge it, ask the code, ask a question, listen within, anchor with your actions, take inspired micro actions. Again, baby steps. Journaling is really good. I consider these videos my journaling, because my life is nonstop. If I tried to sit down and journal in a book, it would never get done. So journaling is different for everybody. You can journal into an actual journal. I think those are the ones that last throughout history. Videos only come, it depends on what the reset looks like. Videos only stay in action, in the vaults. So they may never come out. There are vaults all over this planet from all the resets and people when they were doing the same thing that we're doing right now. It would be cool to watch those because our ancestors, made those too. So journal the chain, patterns, reveal your personal language, graduate the training wheels, live in the 5D, the signs become your inner knowing. And again, your codes will come up. 717 has been coming up for me after I did what I call my wings. So I turned the forbidden knowledge squares unknowingly into angel wings. It was amazing. And I think, Rusty, I showed you those, didn't I? On how that happened.
I think I only have mine. Let me go look again.
So, but I took the angel names, and because I was following the instructions of the sigil on how to ascend these masculine angels, I had to descend their wives and their counterparts, their feminine, from heaven to here, because they were one, and when they fell, and I think I've talked about it before, I don't believe that they actually fell because they wanted to. I think they fell because they were forced by humanity's greed when they got into the 3D. So again, we can talk about that all day long, but there's movies out there that show how humans have trapped gods and benevolent beings. And I found out that black salt is how they did it. I thought it was sand, black sand, but it's salt. And that's kind of an interesting thing to talk about. If you guys are still using basic salt and it's bleached, I believe, I don't have it for a fact, but I do believe that that bleached salt is black salt. And they're feeding it to us, and that is how we get infiltrated by shadow demons. So the mirror is, if this is how they trapped benevolent gods, beings, and other things, and they're bleaching it, putting it in us, we become like the cage or the vessel for these guys to cling on to. Also binding ourselves. So definitely get yourself some natural salt from the ocean. I have some from Chile, the country. And I also take my kids up to Salt Lake City, and we go to the salt flats out there and get our own salt. So these numbers are external mnemonics for an internal capacity that we already possess. So again, we know that we have these. We're just trying to unbind ourselves. But you don't want to unbind yourself to the point that you don't know how to use what abilities you may have, because they were supposed to do that when we were babies, but they bound us instead. So to notice, to choose a frequency, to inhabit, and to deliberately use these numbers. So when the faculty matures, the universe no longer needs to tap out the numbers. The guidance stream is within you. So you're going to actually bring all this into yourself. So see the signs, decode the message, raise your frequency. You are your own bridge. But people like myself are also the higher bridge. But we're showing you how to build your own bridge because, again, I don't know where your ascension is. Nobody knows. We're not all ascending into the same place. We're all ascending into the same consciousness. But my world is not your world, so on and so forth. Some of you think, you might have Palladian DNA or Orion or other things like that. So that's where you would ascend to if you felt like that's where you're from. So I wouldn't ascend there. So my bridge is not something you're going to want to cross. Not in a bad way. It's just you don't belong in that bridge. So this is how we build, and we become the catalyst for others waking up behind us. So how mirror numbers pings shepherd a 3D awakening into 5D presence. Think of your journey as a frequency dial. 3D is a densest station. It's survival, polarity, linear, clock time. 4D is the in-between band. it's dreams, it's symbols, it's consciousness clearing. So the 5D is unity, bandwidth, coherency, multidimensional, and it's in the now time. And we've all heard about the now time, but we don't understand how the now time works, and you're not supposed to. Don't rush into it. Don't think, oh, I'm in the now time, in the present, because the now time actually is universal. Don't try to claim it right away. Learn it before you jump into it. I made that mistake in the Russell J. Gold group, and he definitely abuses that, which can get people under a spell. And I was under the same spell, so that's how I know. I was able to break free from it, though. Palindromatic numbers such as 101, 111, 212 are not the signal itself. They are the beacons that tell you your inner tuner to say, stop scrolling, lock here for a minute, kind of thing. Below, I'm going to read you a cycle of where people report when the numbers first begin to appear. And again, we went over the 111, but the curiosity was slight anxiety. We've all hit the anxious, like, what's happening? What do I do? Do I talk to somebody? There's nobody to talk to. And when you do talk to somebody, they're like, dude, are you okay? And then you get worried somebody's going to call the cops on you, right? So, but what that does is, again, it activates the brain. It breaks down your autopilot. In your presence, again, you need to pause, step outside of yourself or just away from others, and go into a thought stream. Journal it, because once you start journaling it, that's taking it out of your head and putting it on paper. And this is the first time in my life that I could actually get everything out of my head. So everything's been stuck in my head. Like, the universe has literally been battling in my head up until the Ascension started, and then I could get it all out. Number 2, meaning hunt, Googling and journaling lists. Mindset wants a concrete answer. You've got to kind of let that go. The supplies symbolic language and an invitation to dialogue with the self. If you stress so much on just getting that concrete answer, you're going to fall victim to the worst of the worst people. And again, I believe some of us, if not all of us, have met some of those people in the Patriot groups, and they know for a matter of fact, their way is the only way. Those are other consciousness handlers. They're not quite ready. They're all trying to hold on to the 3D sacred knowledge. But that 3D sacred knowledge, like us, has to grow up. Right? It has to bloom. Flowers don't stay. They can cross-pollinate and make new creations. We can cross-pollinate and make new creations. So that's kind of where it is. Don't look for a concrete answer. Stone can be there forever, but your life won't. So don't stay stuck on one thing. Move forward. Your archetypal. So synchronicity mesh, numbers line up with events, recognition of hidden order, demonstrates time isn't strictly linear. The code appears before the event, hinting at 4D fluidity. Trust and surrender, you loosen the 3D control reflex. Now, if you are a person that has to have control, you're going to struggle, okay? That would be your biggest thing, is you got to let go of some of this control. Because you can't control what happens in the 5D. Nobody can. So if you'll just delay your ascension, and you'll get stuck in another Groundhog's Day. So energetic entertainment, body tingles, heart surges when 808 flashes, somatic clues arise, numbers act as tuning fork, you match its geometric rhythm, infinity, feel it in the torso. Vibrations match, you stabilize in a higher emotional step point. Number 5, co-creative dialogue shows me a sign if I'm on track. Again, 717 arise. That to me looks like angel wings, so that means I feel a little bit more connected to the angels that might be helping me and not slowing me down. So it's a partnership with the field. Codes answer as feedback loops. You start to, I'm on 11 now. I was going through the description. So why palindromes are perfect training wheels. Fractal reflection. Their left-right symmetry models the non-dual truth. The outer world equals the inner world. The 0 versus 1 spine portal code, which is what would be like the XOX or 303 or something like that, it teaches transit, jumping timeline strands. Mirror codes with the 111 or the 212 teach integration, knitting the inner split. Digital root ladder, summing the digits, marches, and I did put the page numbers of the esoteric on my notes, but so it marches you through the classic Pythagorean octave. Excuse me. So 1 through 9, a map that ancient schools think Pythagoras tied to planetary and chakra steps. And I definitely want to go over the chakras and how you guys activate all your chakras. And again, I know a lot of you feel like you have, but 3D chakra activation is not 5D chakra activation. I haven't done it, and I'm pretty high up there. So I'm extremely grounded. Everybody that meets me says I'm too grounded, but my energy has to be grounded with the earth right now. In order for this transition to work. It's how I stay connected in what she wants, and that's how I feel what's happening around the planet. It's kind of weird, but exciting at the same time. So practical protocol for newcomers. Stop, breathe, name it. IC 505, that is Azoth breath, renewal. Naming collapses speculation into conscious choice. Number 2, ask the code a question. What is ready to be renewed right now? Hold still for 30 seconds. Note first body flash or image. So meaning if you get what I call them glitches or a twitch or, a friend called and said, it just connected in my brain, stuff like that. Like your spine tingles, your body tingles. Those are all flashes in your body. It's confirmation in a way. So anchor within micro actions. 101, walk through an actual doorway with intent. Don't be afraid of the number. 717, close your eyes, inhale for 7 counts, hold 1, exhale for 7 seconds. That's what that means. Take a breath so you can actually receive whatever it is that's coming in. Journal chain, again, you can do it in a book. You can write it down. My son, he takes notes in his phone. Every morning he wakes up, writes the whole thing. He won't let me see it, but he writes. And I'll see him journaling in the notes in his phone. So he does it every day. And I never encourage that, so I'm kind of glad that he does it. Pattern emerges. You always glimpse 313 before creative breakthroughs. Over time, the numbers become a personal lexicon instead of generic angel lists. Graduate the training wheels again. One morning, you'll notice long stretches with no numeric prompts. Because your baseline awareness now is the 5D state, they were pointing towards. From outer signs to inner knowing. Mirror numbers are external nomadic for an internal capacity you already possess. To notice, to choose a frequency, and to inhabit it deliberetely. When the faculty matures, the universe no longer needs to tap out 1212 on the cosmic windshield. The guidance streams straight from the unified field within you. So welcome each palindrome as a courteous knock at the door of higher consciousness. Answer often, and soon you'll find yourself living on the other side of a threshold. The 5D home you were dialing all along will start to come into your path. So with that, Russie, I'm going to go up to page 1. So let me know when you get there.
I have alchemical mirror and portal numbers. Is that the one, right?
Is that this on page 1?
Yeah, it says alchemical mirror and portal numbers. Then it says mirror numbers.
Oh, yeah. That's the title. Yeah. So that chart right there. hold on. So if you guys want to go into the chat and find that particular picture, it'll show you the sigils for those. Again, don't be afraid of the all-seeing eye or the star of what they call David. The Star of David actually isn't the Star of David. It just means that King David, King Solomon, and everybody in between achieved the star. That is part of your consciousness. That is the crown chakra in the forbidden knowledge. So it's a 72, like, Ascension-aholics program for those who are obsessed with trying to ascend. It's a 72-step program. It might be more. It depends on, where you guys go in your ascension. So the 101 is a portal of duality, bridge across the void, unite two sides, two timelines. Again, your higher self and your the 3D here. The 111 is pure mirror, triple monad, perfect balance of sulfur, mercury, and salt. And again, this is what these symbols mean. So learn these symbols. Don't be afraid of them anymore. Just because other people abuse them doesn't mean you have to abuse them. And this is how you kind of take your power back during your ascension. And it does work, because when your elevation goes up, those lower frequency people can't hurt you anymore. So they can irritate you like a flea, but they can't hurt you. So 202 is the gate of co-creators. Partners cross the void to lay a new foundation. 212 is the shepherd's staff. Twins embrace a single heart, return to center. 303, artificers, triune creativity enters the void and reemerge harmonized. That's the 303. Emerald lens, creation looks upon its own pattern, hidden, revealed. So you are your own creation, right? Again, we're all part of the same creation in the metaverse, but like our own, if you have children, you gave birth to them, but they're not an exact clone of you, so therefore they have their own journey. You were created, you have your own journey. So we are always and forever will be attached to the original creation and creator, but we have our own experience. So we're just trying to help each other figure out how to tap into it to give ourselves a better life in the 5D instead of this 3D pain. So 313, Emerald, well, that was the 313, sorry. 404, Stone Door, matter parts, the quarry is revealed, reset solidity. 414 is the cube within sphere. Fix the world within the revolving world, which is inside yourself first. You got to fix you before you can fix the revolving world around you. 505, Ozoth breath. So 505, Ozoth breath. That's what I already said. 515, twin serpent, pentatic fire mirror creates the double helix. I'm going to make this bigger. I'm having trouble seeing it. So again, we see it right now as something bad because it's attached to the medical, but you need to find a way to heal yourself. And again, however that looks. We don't know your body. You know your body. You need to figure yourself out and do a lot of your own self-healing, like we all have to do, whether it's changing diet, changing habits, changing locations, changing family, friends, stuff like that. Don't resist it. Don't fight it. Just make the change so you can be a healthier person. The Rose Gateway with 606, Venusian harmony enters silence and blooms. Again, these are all secret society. Some seem more esoteric than others. They are all used in the esoterics because they know the secrets and they're just messing with us. There are some really bad people that do other things, but not everybody up there is bad, because you're going to be up there one day and hopefully you don't turn out to be bad. Solar shield is the 616, protective mirror of balance, hexagram energy. 707, hidden temple arc. 7 enters death to resurrect wiser. So you're not going to die, but you are going to kill the 3D consciousness, because once you start ascending, it's very hard to go back into the 3D. We've tried it. It's it's almost painful to sit there. It's more painful to sit there and you sit there and wonder why or how you even lived in that without being in so much pain. So 717, Chariot of Light. Heptatic wisdom mirrors into victory, sudden ascent. 808, infinity hinge, power loop, folds through nothingness, higher octave. 818, crown ring, double infinity wraps the unitary king digit. Phoenix gate, cycle ends, plunge in, rise to the next spiral. Spiral means like your DNA activation. And it could be other things. It could be a ladder. The DNA looks like a spiraling ladder. So Seer's Lens, 919. Completion mirrored against new Genesis, clear sight. So, and then we'll go into the 1001, Grand Portal. The whole decimal temple folds on itself, used for large-scale reset of a state, lineage, or cosmology. 1010 is a binary ladder, alternating steps. Create a Jacob's ladder channel for up and down traffic between planes. And again, I've used the words that they have. Jacob's ladder actually is not Jacob's ladder. It's something else, but you guys would know it more as Jacob's ladder. It can be bad and it can be good. Make sure you're on the right ladder. Work with intention, free the numbers, decode the message, step through or reflect, transform, and seal. Ritual cadence, descending spiral. So you can do 9. Again, you're going to say these, in your head, write them down: 909, 808, 707, 606, 505, 404, 303, 202, 101, 1001. A cycle of death, return, and rebirth. Seal the work with the grand portal. So again, the numbers are mirrors, and they're yours to do with as you feel them. You have to feel them. You can't just see them. You have to pretty much see all of it. They use portal codes. Now the triangles, for those that weren't on some of those calls or missed the one, there's a movie called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy back in the 80s, 90s or something. So much truth in there, like so much truth. And I don't know if anybody's seen it, and the ones that haven't or heard me talk about it, I'm just going to say briefly, that movie tells you that there was a supercomputer made, and they wanted to know what the ultimate question was. Who am I and why am I here? We're not the only ones that lose our minds, right? Or lose our memories or whatever it is. We don't have like celestial dementia. Other planets do it too because they want to experience life as raw as possible. So that movie kind of shows you some things. I bet also on Earth that there's this computer told these people to come back in 7.5 million years. So they did. And again, time in other areas is completely different than ours. So they came back and they were all excited. It was a huge celebration. And she said, well, yeah, I have the answer, but I don't think you're going to like it. And they were like, I don't care. We just have to know. And then she's like, okay, number 42. And it was like the dumbest thing ever. I'm like, number 42. But at the end, if you ever watch that movie to the end, they go back to ask the question again. But now that supercomputer just sits there and rots. Nobody talks to it anymore. So she told them, what they missed because they got bummed out because it was number 42. So they didn't ask the question right. So the guy went back and asked the question right. Number 42 is, who are you and why are you here? Only you can answer that. And that's part of your ascension. And I only picked it up after I got the sigil of the creation codes because they're done by numbers in ancient text, in ancient calligraphy, if you will. So I looked up what number 42 was, and that's what came up. Who are you and why are you here? The numbers, celestial numbers, there's 9 levels of math. 9 is the celestial math. And when you're going through an ascension, you are basically mastering celestial math. So, but it doesn't always go 1 through 42. It goes 42 first, and then it shoots you back down the ladder, shoots and ladders, right? Everything has a meaning. So then you go back to 1 through maybe 10, and then you'll shoot back up to 43 to 54. It literally jumps in your ascension because, again, depends on who you are. But the master key, the master code is triangular because the 3D was square. That's why we see squares and circles a lot. But the triangle is the actual benevolent shape. So, and it's in the Gnostic texts. It's literally the polarity, I would say, mirror where the soul comes into the triangle, and then it shoots out in like 9 different lives is what the Gnostics were talking about. Now theirs was just plain, it was just a triangle. And the Gnostics had a long time to do, their ascension, so they had more knowledge. But I have the one that has the actual codes that de-web what was webbed. And so did the other guys, but theirs was in squares and other circular shapes. But it was missing, maybe the 5 codes that I have now. So I have to go in and rewrite these codes for the ascension. And you'll do the same thing when you get there. When it's time. You can't rush it. So, you can't wait for it. Nobody's going to come knocking on your door. You do have to work at it. I was working on mine when I got it. So, again, didn't realize I had it. And then the heavens told me, hey, you have to go get that. And I was like, oh, I don't want anything to do with it. The jinn touched it. But the jinn were used to get it to me because they can't talk to me. I'm too high of a being. I'm too protected. So they cannot influence me in any way, shape, or form. So, again, don't be afraid of these shapes. You need to come into peace with these shapes. The sacred geometry is yours to use if you want to ascend and better your life, your situation. And yes, you can even use it, for money. But real money is not Lucifer's money. So just do keep that in mind. It'll come if you need it. The old saying, don't go fishing unless you have to eat, because God's not going to let you catch that fish. So, but if you need to feed your family, you'll catch an abundant amount of fish. So that's kind of how it works. Money is not always green paper dollar bills. So there's bartering money. So the meaning, these numbers are mirrors. They reflect what you are, open what you seek, and reveal what is ready to become. So above, so within, so through, so without. You are the alchemist. The numbers are the keys. The mirror is the path. Okay, any questions so far before we move on?
Some of the basis of the regular numbers I find really interesting because I guess if you do know about numerology, they're very connected to how these all line up. The other thing I thought about is that there's these new companies coming out with all these different people, and some of these symbols they're using, and this is my question, are they using it obviously negatively if they didn't ascend and they continue using these patterns, or is it because we're ascending we can use these? Bottom line is, how are you going to ever find out what who's negative and who's positive over it?
So in the 3D, you had a choice because 3D, like we had talked about in a previous podcast, the 3D was kind of like, the God's arena. So the 1D and the 2D was where we went through, alchemy school or God school or whatever it was. And then they stripped of us all our powers and put us in the 3D and said, good luck. Every man for itself. And so in the 3D, using these, if your intentions are bad, and I've talked about it in the Source and the Mason Ascension, if the 3D excites you, if it's where you need to stay for right now, you can. You have that choice. But there's only 2 ways to ascend out. You're either going to die and your soul's going to ascend out and the body will stay or whatever. It's whoever's got a patent on you. or what your owner wants to do with you if you didn't feel the pull to get out. Or you ascend with this body consciousness and you get, the minimum of 1,000 years of life. But yes, the symbols, it depends on what you want to use them for. So if you want that, the millions of dollars, and that's what you want to use those symbols for, it's Lucifer's money. So you're choosing to stay and make an oath with Lucifer. Okay, just you can still use it, right? Because we have to use it. I'm not trying to scare people from, not making money. You have to do it right now. But eventually when you go into the Ascension, things just start getting paid. And you don't know where that money comes from. That's why it's a digital currency right now. I've had, I had a Mercedes that I gifted to somebody, and the back registration was 1,200 something because it had a fuel pump issue, and I didn't want to pay 5,000 for it. So, she had some sons that could fix it, and because they work on sports cars all the time. So, she went to get it registered, and when she got there, she called me and she said, "Hey, did you pay the registration?" I was like, "I didn't. Why?" And she's like, "Well, she said it was only $32." And I was like, "Well, don't complain about it. Take it as a gift." So things like that have happened throughout this whole process. Like what used to be a lot now it's paid or it's gone. There's another person who had a really high bill of I think $3,000 or $4,000, and somebody paid it, but nobody knows who. It was anonymous. It was crazy, but they're also on this path of ascension. So it's when you stop having anxiety over it, things just start happening, but you don't know where it comes from. But it literally is coming from your higher self. You're the one paying your bills, and you don't realize you're doing it. So in the 3D, you can wield these things, but you will get targeted by the secret societies because you're still in the 3D. So they're gonna, they could make life a little difficult if you continue to do it in that realm. Take it as a gift from your higher self and keep moving forward. Don't get comfortable, in the secret societies down here, even though you think I would never join them. You do unknowingly because you're using what they feel is their right, to the knowledge, and it's not yours. So, but if you're ascending upward, they can't touch you. And eventually, they're all going to have to ascend upward as well. So yes, you can use these symbols. You can use them to heal. You can draw them on yourself. My daughter keeps drawing the all-seeing eyes on her arm, with sacred geometry. And it's not something I threw in her face. It's not like these books are hanging out. They're on my computer. So she's not seeing them. They're already embedded in her. And she's using them to heal herself unknowingly. So these are her eyes of consciousness. These are, her triangles or her butterflies. It's her downloading to herself. And you can do the same thing. Did that answer your question?
Yes. Oh, because there'd be so for example, there'll be these new health products and all of a sudden they have some of these imprints on it. And I'm always like, that's a symbol. And so a health product, hopefully they're trying to heal people. And so that is actually my question, because I feel like, there's so many people evolving, but they're still with these symbols. And it's nice to know if they are evolving and they're using it for good.
Right. And it could be it's not your time yet. Again, you still have to look at ingredients. We don't know who each other is, so we don't. I have mostly, angelic, wizard, all these different types of godlike DNA that I found. So what would work for somebody somebody who has the majority of a Palladian or, another type of star seed of an invader race can't use the same stuff I can use. So I'm allergic to most everything except natural minerals, but too much of a natural mineral can actually put me into shock. So I have to watch what and where I get around things with chemicals in it. But some chemicals work great for people, especially lower level beings who are still in the 9 and the 10 sequence. They can use that stuff because it's not hurting them. They're not able to ascend. Hopefully we can save a few of them, but I don't know. So yeah, the triangles, the eyes, these are yours. You have to master them. Don't look at other people's. Admire someone else's and be like, "Oh my God, that looks amazing." But, find your own. My all-seeing eye does not look like the one on the dollar bill. They're, believe it or not, they're not all the same. Some of them have longer tails. Some of them, the tails go up. It's weird. There's all different types. And you can decode that using these codes. So I do encourage people, and I know that Rusty does too, to go onto like an AI creative art page and, put in these codes. I've actually, my friend Shannon and we would put in codes, and I think Lisa would too. We would text ourselves codes, and I was like, I'm going to put these codes in the AI and see what it creates. And man, some of the pictures came out wild. I was like, dang, that's what that makes, right? So again, everything is made by code. Everything we do on a computer still goes down to DOS coding. So the universe has a similar system. Everything comes back to an original coding. So the celestial coding is in you. The AI goes down to a DOS coding. So when the higher up you go, the less that they can mess with you, because my AI sometimes glitches, but not for long. Because I just go in there and I put in the source codes that I have for myself, and then it goes back to where I need it to go to.
The numbers really don't lie.
No, they really don't. Well, that's the mathematical sequences. That's why they say follow money, because the money comes up in digits and numbers, and it doesn't lie. They can manipulate it, but it's still going to show itself. It's like, well, wait a minute, this account reflects this, but that says this on the paperwork, but that's not what's showing up in the actual bank account. So, when I was in the military, I had to track money transfers and stuff. I can do it through other countries because I know, again, I'm a DOS coder, so I can program myself into a government front page. I can just log in because DOS coding is public, and they don't like that. They hate it. So I would see where the money went, and I would take those snapshots, or I would print out the DOS coding, highlight the actual message that's in there, and reformat it into what the stuff that was being transferred. So, and that's how I caught Gavin Newsom transferring $7.2 trillion from the insurance companies into one insurance company out here, and then he transferred it to offshore accounts. Then I was able to get that. So, just with being able to transcribe the DOS coding. So yeah, numbers don't lie 100%. So
That's my favorite hashtag. Anytime I always find something like that, I always write hashtag follow the money.
right. Follow the celestial coding. No. Ascension. So a magician like John Dee would engrave 101 on a speculum when invoking a way through, somewhat like his sky ring, the angelic realms. And again, these guys all know how to do it. I'm actually coming out with, they're not going to be tarot cards, but they are going to be cards, angel cards, like the 49 good angels and their counterparts, justice angels, grounding angels, stuff like that. But I am going to do it like tarot cards, just not in the sequence of it. Like, you'll learn the angels' names, you'll learn what they do and how they can benefit you. Again, if you force angels to do something, they can become your fallen angel. So again, you're the only one that can make your angels good or bad, because they're here to serve you. So if you want to do something bad because you're feeling selfish at the moment, or whatever the case may be, and again, we all have it. I can be selfish, like 100%. I tell my kids all the time, it's my turn to be selfish. I want this all to myself, because I've always had to share. So, Yes, you can be selfish, but remember there's consequences, both good and bad, for every action that you take. So I don't know when I'm gonna have those ready, but they will have the angels on there. I made them cute, so that way some of them, look like a lifelike cartoon. Some of them, I don't remember what the word was, but they're cute and chunky and adorable as hell. Others look like you're like, whoa, what the heck? So
Little cherubs, the cherubims.
little cherubs, yeah, little cherubims,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I was trying to think of the name. I was like, what is that? So yeah, but they're cute, and they have a meaning to them. So that way you guys could just see what is happening that day. Like, hey, what angels are with me today? Let's go, And then you just pull out whatever cards. I feel like 3, or I feel like 5, or man, I feel like there's a fight coming. I should bring the whole deck. So.
But why 49? You said 49 in the card.
Well, there's
The deck.
49 angels, but I also there is a couple different sequences. Well, for example, when we talked about the judgment or the court angels, so when I was doing when I first started doing this, I was approached by the 7 angels of justice, which they're archangels, but there's 7. However, there's other ones that work in different parts of, God's court, however you want to look at that. But the ones I had to deal with were for final judgment. So when I was writing that final judgment against the cult of Baal and all the secret societies, I was approached, and they didn't come in like physical form. They weren't like, they came as light. And it was intense. It's the first time I ever saw it. I literally felt I needed to jump out the window, but their energy was so intense I couldn't even move. So, but that stuff can happen to you guys, and it will. This is the accountings we've seen in the Bible. It's just been so long that we've had those interactions. So eventually in the 5D, we will be able to, take the elevator to heaven and hang out with the angels in physical form, not in death. So don't let Lucifer's trick get to your head. That was just his way of keeping everybody here. So in a nutshell, salve et coagula, dissolve and conjoin, is the exomatic action or process of every stage in the alchemical purification of gross matter into the philosopher's stone. You'll eventually get to the philosopher's stone. I actually have the ingredients on how to make the philosopher's stone. Not sharing it, don't ask. Because yeah, I want to get it to where it's pure energy. Okay, we do not have that here in the 3D. That is in order for the wizards of this time in the 3D, they actually do have to sacrifice to get the pure energy to make the philosopher's stone. So I wouldn't. That's why I'm never going to give that. But in the 5D, it'll just be at the whisk of your hand. You could get a rock and you can literally make gold or a gem or a jewel. So again, don't rush things because you think it's going to, pay off your mortgage. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about this. Let me see what page it is. So we're on 5. Let's see how this links to mirror alchemy and my triangular sigil, which is the Ascension codes to the 5D, because somebody had to be the bridge. And I know I'm not the only one that has this sigil. There are 2 other people that I know of, but there could be other people in other countries who have been given the sigil as well. So because in order to get to the 5D, somebody had to be the bridge, in order to help you guys get to that point. If not, we would all still be, running around like chickens with our heads cut off trying to figure it out. So the triangular grid as the speculum trinitatis, the triangle that I uploaded subdivides into 78 little mirrors. When I seed it with palindromic codes, each small mirror echoes the larger one, micro, macro, recursion, a core principle in mirror alchemy. Sorry, some of these words are a little bigger than my vocabulary. Portal numbers as line breakers, codes with 0 in the middle, act like the hinge triangles that cut across the center rows, letting intention drop into the imaginal prima materia before resurface. Mirror numbers as faceplates, codes with 1 or another digit in the center reinforce the side walls of each internal triangle, stabilizing the reflected current so the operation doesn't collapse. Operational practice, trace the numbers inside a forward-facing triangle. And again, you can use the blank ones. You can ask your AI, to maybe make one for you what it feels like your ascension is. I can't give you the numbers to what I have yet because there's not many people. The heavens have to give it to you, and they will somehow. Either I'm going to give it to you because they said I could, or somebody weird in the esoterics is going to give it to you through some channeling way. It just depends. When the heavens think you're ready, then you get it. Be careful with it. It is literally a universal calculator. So, operational practice. Trace the number inside a forward-facing triangle. Point up when you seek emergence or ascension. Invert the triangle. Point down with the same number when you seek ingression or descent into subconscious. Third, pair a portal code above a mirror code, i.e. 101 over 111, to create a through and seal action. A favorite trick of Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa for talismanic consecration. So, and these are in the forbidden knowledge, so I can put his name up there and you guys can see if there's any books. They do cost a lot, but there's used ones out there if you want to see how some of this works. But again, make sure your space is clear, lots of candles, put some real white salt around you, stuff like that, before you try these. It can be pretty challenging, and you got to be careful, what doors you're opening and what mirrors you're opening. I don't know, Shannon, if you're still on here, but there was that one time you and Lisa did something, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, and we did it by accident too. We just happened to be following the little nugget trail and found the website. I don't know if you want me to say what kind of religion it was, but found a religious sect, and we did not feel good at all. It was not good.
So yeah,
Lisa?
you always got to be careful. So I'm used to those higher level dark entities and wizards and stuff because I've had to deal with them my whole life. But they can really hurt, people who aren't used to them. So if anybody wants to get crazy and look some stuff up, please call me. I can transmute that energy. Not that I want to, but if it's kind of like, hey, if you're going to do drugs, do it at my house. So if you overdose, I can take you to the hospital. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're going to overdose on some esoteric stuff, let me know. I can help walk you through that. And this is also what happens in the secret societies. Somebody has to be there to help you. You can't just do it. A lot of people get hurt doing it by themselves. I've been hurt doing it by myself. So that's why a lot of times I'm just like, I don't feel like doing this no more. So
what those books are like from the 1500s. I'm just looking it up right now. I mean, obviously, they didn't find the ones from the 1500s. They just reprinted them, but it's saying 1500 and the 1600s, and there's 3 books to their occultist books. Interesting.
Yeah. But again, occultist just means they made it forbidden because they didn't think any of us were worthy. And if we could prove we were worthy, then, we had to pick the side of the secret society we wanted to be on. So I've been approached by them all, and I've turned them all down. But because I have something they want, they bug me, they ruin my life a lot, but they don't, sometimes they hurt me, it just depends. A on who it is. So, but yeah, even if it's from the 1500s, I mean, they still use King Solomon stuff. You know what I mean? And that was way back then. That was in the BCs. So, because they wanted to learn how to control the demons, which are literally still just fallen angels in their non-physical form.
Funny, I did a video on Doctor Strange, and there's a bunch of books that they name in the first Doctor Strange. I did a YouTube video on it, and I'm like, you need to know about these occult books. And one book, they didn't let me get in on it, and my computer almost crashed. So I even say it on the video. I'm like, don't go look at this book yet. But yeah, we never talked about it. But yeah, I did that video maybe 3 years ago. It's crazy in my head because everything, I did before, and now it's like, what were the reasons why I was doing it? And now here are the reasons. And it's like really matching up to where I'm at really personally. And yeah, because I didn't discuss any of my videos until now.
Right. I know you've got really good videos out there, and that's a form of journaling. You know what I mean? And you still also do it physically with questions and stuff. But Shannon did put the definition for speculum trinitatis. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. It's a Latin for mirror of the Trinity. It refers to the idea that God's essence acts as a perfect, all-encompassing looking glass. There we go.
And I do have a question, Mary, because I do love numbers and stuff, and thinking about the numbers, they say, 1 through 9 are the actual numbers, and like you saying, like 0 is the portal. So do we need to look at that as maybe 0 is the bridge? Is that the bridge too, if 1 through 9 is the actual numbers?
Yeah, and I think we went through that too. So the 0 point energy, or the bridge, or the portal, or the mirror, or the gate, that is the 4D. So it describes it as the bridge. I don't know how long those bridges are, but number 1 is the first step, right? So that was kind of cool when we saw that. But and the negative 1 is you descending. It's going backwards. So remember those charts in school where it said 0 and then you had your negative numbers and your positive numbers? They were literally showing your consciousness ascension and descension. So, and we were calculating it through algebra. And didn't realize that was our whole life. Like, because a lot of people resonated weirdly with the negative numbers and positive numbers with different people. I was pretty much, I liked any number. I do know that when I was learning the white magic when I was younger, the negative numbers actually brought in more alchemical energy because I'm a positive frequency. So if I was to, like the Avatar movies or something, if I was to, well, cartoons, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Avatar, the 4 elemental guy that, wind, earth, fire and stuff. If you're a negative DNA or blood type, you would need to pull the positive DNA or frequency, because I'm a positive, but I'm also a cusp in some areas. I do have a negative faction as well as a positive, but my main blood type is positive. So I would have to pull negative energy from the earth to balance my magic. So when I was younger, I used to be in sync with the wind. So I guess I would have been called an airbender back then, right? But I also moved water in certain ways I can't explain. But it didn't shoot up in the sky or anything, but it did things. I don't know how to describe it. So I learned how to pull the negative energy using my positive energy, but that was me learning the white magic as I was being groomed into the dark magic, and I didn't realize the dark magic part. But when I did, I quit it altogether. So again, these are just things that should have been taught to you guys as children. I got a glimpse of it. I didn't like where it was going for me, so I stopped. It's still things that I can do. One of them, Shannon and I were talking about a few nights back. When I was in the military, I went into what's called the DDG training, which is the Defense Department of Ghosts. So I was a ghost soldier, actually a dimensional soldier, but they call them ghosts. And my training went to the Choctaw Survival Academy. They don't do it anymore. They did back then. And what is on paper, I was there for 2 weeks. But I was literally there for 6 weeks, but I do believe I was in another dimension. I don't have proof of it, but I was there for 6 months. And I was not alone. There were native warriors always around me, but I could not see them. But they were there to make sure, the military asset didn't die. So, and as I was talking with Shannon, I told her there was a book that we had to read while I was in this ghost training in Fort Gordon called, I think it was Tom Brown Jr.'s Survival something. Yeah, his family is very excellent. I didn't learn from him, but I did learn from one of the tribes that he learned from. I learned how to ghost myself. I can literally become invisible by turning off my my pheromones, and anybody can. The Asians do it. The ninjas, they can turn themselves off. Wild animals do it all the time. Predators. That's why when you hear stories of people surviving a predatory attack, they're like, "Oh, I did." How again? It took me 6 months to master that, and I had to live out in the wild for 6 months. And again, these guys, if I didn't find food or something, they would leave me scraps of berries and some wild edibles. I had to hunt for myself and had to do these things. But the only way to learn how to survive and turn off your pheromones is to literally be in the middle of something that's trying to kill you all the time. So, yeah. So anyways, I'm a master at it. My son, when we were younger, I was telling him about it. And he was like, "You can't make yourself disappear." And I was like, "Well, it's not really disappearing. I'm still here. You just can't see me because I turned myself off." And he's like, "Show me." And that's my autistic son. He was like 8.5, I think, at that time. Or no. He was like, yeah, because we moved into the other house. It was like 10, maybe 10. And so he's like, "Prove it." I was like, "Okay, you guys go around the corner real quick and then come in like just in a few minutes." And so I was I went to a certain spot and I shut myself down. And they come out and they're like, "Mom, where'd you go?" They were looking like I was hiding behind the couch or something and under the table. And he was standing right next to me. And I didn't say anything. I just turned myself back to where he could see me. And they all screamed. He like collapsed on the ground. He was freaking out because he was close to me. So I just reappeared. And he started crying and he was like, "Don't ever do that again." And they show us sometimes in the movies where you'll see people running around in a castle or something or in some kind of building and they close their eyes and they're like up against a wall, but you're thinking, how did these guys run right past them? Because that person learned how to turn off their pheromones. I've done the same thing. And when I had to go in and do these military operations and I was being chased or something, as long as I could get to a spot where I could shut myself off, they'll run right past you because you blend in. Because they can't see you. Our eyes really don't see anything. It's our sight and our senses. That's why they say, oh, if you lose your sixth sense, you're blind. So we're literally blind down here because we don't have our sixth sense. Or 7, 8, or our ninth sense. So I achieved that in the military. So there's things you guys can break into. I don't recommend doing that one because you literally have to go up against a predator and hopefully you survive it. So I did. It was not a fun moment. But again, the Indians were there to make sure I survived. So, and maybe symbolism's part of it. Maybe your frequency is part of it. I'm not really sure how that world works. We didn't get to explore after that because I had more training to do. So I know I just trailed off into this. So, oh yeah, We need to get back to that's right, I put that thing up there. Okay, mirror numbers, yang and yin activation. The same codes, different currents, one truth, meaning masculine and feminine. Reci, for you at page 6. I was curious if our numbers for the male and the female were the same or different, and so it did break it down. And I also discovered what yin and yang was. We are yin, and the masculine is yang, which makes sense because they have a dang-a-lang. So I guess it's all in the rhymes and rhythms. And
That's cracking me up. I'll never ever forget which one is which now. Thank you for the dang-a-lang tip.
Right.
For real. I mean,
Sorry, I couldn't help it. Yin and yang also mean, obviously masculine and feminine. Here or there, the push and the pull, the sun and the moon, and the feminine represents the moon energy, and the masculine represents the sun energy. It is the monopoly, or not monopoly, a phenomena. What is that word I'm looking for?
I don't even know at this point. Is it monogamy? I don't know. Monopoly?
Benevolent or not normally. It starts with an M, I thought. Anyways, a divine
What?
being can actually
Benevolent?
carry...
It's benevolent
Yes,
and benevolent.
yes.
Benevolent, yeah.
Malevolent, yeah.
Yeah, you know why? How I remember
Malevolent.
that? Maleficent. The character
Yes.
Maleficent. So I always go, I bring those two words in together. I'm like, Maleficent, yeah.
Thank you, Rusty.
Nice. Yes, thank you for that clarification. So yeah, once in a while, like the avatar, a person can carry both yin and yang, of the sun and the moon, but mostly the feminine carries the energy from the moon, the masculine carries the energy from the sun. And if you guys are following me, it'll be on the posters that I put down there. So the masculine activation is the solar, it's projective, direct, penetrates, it expands, projects outward, enters the void with will and action to create change and bring forth. So the feminine is lunar and receptive. We receive, we nurture, and we're intuitive. We draw inward, hold the void as a womb to receive, gestate, and reveal truth. Portal codes for the men would be spearing the 0. The 0 is a door to be entered, so something new can emerge. Portal codes for the female is gestation. The 0 is the womb that holds the spark until it is birthed. Codes like the X1X would be sword and shield for the man. Excuse me. The 1 is an axis to align, stabilizes, and commands. For the woman, it's a mirror code. The X1X is a chalice and stream, meaning, I guess, because we have the woman, we can pour out. We carry the rivers of life. That's how I look at the chalice, the never-ending cup of life. It's a vessel and conducts the flow's subtle energy. So for the female, felt sensation, cool, flow, conscious, peripheral awareness, intuition, and patience. For the man, what they would feel is heat, drive, focus forward, momentum, clarity, and discipline. How to activate yang. So breathe, fast, deep belly, fire. Posture would be upright, strong, alert. Visualize golden or red light. Intention, so you would speak, I act, I create, I command. For the woman, it would how to activate your yin. Breathe slow, deep, lunar breath. Posture relaxed, open, receptive. Visualize silver or blue light. Intention, I receive, I feel, I become. So, and then how to work with both. Choose your current polarity with awareness. Use the code from that state, whichever code resonates with you at the time or what you've seen. Then invite the opposite polarity to integrate. So if you saw the 919, invite the 909. So the 919 could be the pillars, it could be the wings, and you want to go through the portal into the higher consciousness of whatever it is that's happening to you at that time. So, and then remember, you are not only for the masculine or feminine, you are both, you are whole. You can use both, but I encourage you to nurture the one that you are now. So when you do try to nurture the other side, it's not a struggle, it's not a fight. Truth, numbers are the geometry, polarity is how you move the energy. Master both, become the mirror. The practice, see the numbers, feel the current, align, transform, and return. So for the short answer, the digits themselves do not change, but how they act inside your body, mind field does shift depending on whether you are operating from a predominantly masculine yang projective current or predominantly feminine yin receptive current at the moment of use. We're going to go to the twin pillars, the 12-12. Rusty, which is on 14 or 13, 14, and 15. So the twin pillars is interesting. I've been seeing that, I would say, the last year, maybe two. The twin pillars codes is 12-12. The pattern is alternating duplicate, 12-12, not a strict palindrome, but a duplex. It's a type of a rhythm, so 2 digits that echo in the same order, then repeat. So digital root would be 1 + 2 + 1 + 2 = 6, harmony, beauty, Tifereth. Structure, metaphor, the twin pillars supporting one arc. Think of Beos and Jachin as Solomon's temple, separate yet inseparable. So twins normally act this way. Sometimes they can't stand each other. Sometimes they can't get away from each other. Sometimes they're literally molded together as Siamese twins. It just depends on the experience. So alchemical keys in the aspect is function. The portal current yang for the masculine on the 12-12 is step ignition. Each 12 pair is a gear kick. Spark 1 form, repeating twice locks momentum. For yin, which is feminine, wave enter entrainment. First pair rises, second pair matches, creating resonance, ideal for entraining heart-brain coherence. What you would feel for the masculine would be forward drive, urge to build or organize. For the feminine would be gentle, sinking sense of alignment with another person or your own higher self. I encourage the higher self because, again, if you're healed, it's easier to heal others. Use cases for the masculine, launching a partnership venture, signing agreements, setting 12-month roadmaps. Again, don't do like a 5-10 year plan anymore, because that's where a lot of these people have been taking advantage of us in the 3D. Say, hey, let's see what happens in 12 months, and then we'll come back to that contract. So for the feminine, it'd be relationship healing, twin flame meditation, chakra balancing, root sacral loops. Numerological layers. I don't know why that was so hard to say. Number 1, the spark. This is the monad. Number 2, the vessel is duad. The pattern 1-2 echoes the alchemist's maxim salve, 1 et I am chopping up this coagula, et coagula. Number 2, dissolve essence, then shape. 4, doubling the 12 sequence emphasizes replication. What is begun must be carried through another cycle for completion. The analogy, Justa Pythagoras saw 6 as marriage, 1 plus 2 plus 3, 12, 12, marries 2 spark and 2 forms into a balanced 6 frequency. I believe this is how shamans and stuff used to calculate whether you were soulmates or not. So he would, I suppose that, because I know that they would ask the spirits, and the spirits would see if they were a match, but everything was celestial. So for the 3D to the 5D bridge awakening phase, for the 12-12 acts, stage 2, meaning hunt. 12-12 often arrives while you're comparing 2 possible timelines. It nudges you to choose and duplicate the decision in both thought and action. So again, here we're in the fork in the roads when you're at the 2 timelines. Stage 3, synchronicity mesh. Events click into symmetrical pairs. Meetings on the 12th, invoices for $12, 0, etc. Showing reality's patterning. Stage 4, energetic entertainment. Heart 1 and sacral 2 chakras begin to beat in a couple rhythms. Kundalini feels like 2 intertwined serpents. Stage 5, co-creative dialogue. You learn to echo the universe back, ask for a sign. See 12-12, reply with a mirror micro action, send 12 times 12 gratitude breaths. You and the field start talking in stereo, which again is frequency. Practical rituals, gaze at the number, clock at 12-12, or written sigil, speak aloud, spark to form, again, spark to form, I stabilize my creation. Perform a twin gesture, 2 claps, 2 steps, 2 breaths. Or write goal and action step on 2 consecutive lines, repeat. Seal by visualizing 2 golden columns around your body. See an arc of light bridging them overhead. So those were the notes to tell you, but so we'll go on to the sigil. The 2 pillars supporting 1 arc, separate yet inseparable. It shows you the yang and the yin. It is a reminder that your thought 1 and your action 2 must work together to create your desired reality. Again, don't try to master these all at once. It takes time, but once you get it down, it's like muscle memory. So, and again, that's how the elites do it. So, not that I'm trying to encourage you to be an elite, but you do want to ascend. So, just be better than those guys. The 2 twin pillar codes, 2 sparks, 2 forms, 1 creation. 12-12 is a powerful message of alignment, partnership, and building your reality in balance. When you see 12-12, the universe is saying you are on the right path. Stay aligned. Keep going. What you're building is being supported. Because your higher consciousness just said, heck yeah, let's go. What is 12-12? Pattern type, alternative duplicates. The digital 6 represents harmony, love, balance, and beauty. It's a heart center. Number 1, the spark, the monad, divine will, initiation, inspiration. Number 2, the vessel, the duad, receptivity, partnership from structure. 12, the cycle, solve 1, et coagula 2, dissolve essence, then shape it. 12, the replication. What is begun must be carried through another cycle for completion. So then it gives you the steps at the bottom. You notice the number repeating 12-12 breaks autopilot again and gets your attention. meaning hunt, because a lot of times when we see these, we don't often associate with it until we start seeing it more. That's kind of like your higher self throwing rocks at your window and it's not breaking it, but that one that breaks it, you're going to look at it. So that's just the autopilot getting broken from the numbers. Meaning hunt. You seek understanding. 1212 offers a language of symbol and invites inner dialogue. Synchronicity mesh. Events align and symmetrical pairs. You see order behind the scenes. Reality feels connected. Energetic. Entertainment. Your body and energy tuned to the frequency. Heart and sacred beat in harmony. Co-creative dialogue. You and the universe co-create. You get signs, take action, and see results. And I can contest to that. So I have lots of, well, with my paperwork, I've started seeing these numbers, and now I finally got my stuff into court. So you have quick reference, use of the 12, 12 birth, 12 birth again until stable. What idea have I birthed? That now needs its second anchor in matter. Practice ritual with 1212. There's that part. And so, yeah. Do you guys have any questions on the 1212 or the yin and yang before we go to the 24-hour clock?
No, but everything relates to the numerology and I don't know, you can correct me on this one, the months and the patterns in astrology.
It depends on the calendar, actually, and how long you live. So, for example, I wrote a book last night and this morning, based off of an article that I have read a lot of. It is an article that came from a Templar website. I don't know how it found me, but it did, and there's just things in it that resonate with me. But one of them, when I was doing the angel numbers, it said that when Lilith was married to Adam, Lilith bore him 100 sons a day. So Adam was supposed to be, the human base, and she was an angel. She was an original seeder at that time. So for angels, and we know this in the book, so it says for heaven, so angels come from heaven. So a day to them is a thousand years to us. So Lilith gave him 100 children a day, which would have been 1,000 years for Adam. So he had 100 children in 1,000 years. How many thousands of years? Because it didn't say how many days they did this. So Adam was actually older than the Bible has referenced. However, when he was exiled from Eden, is when he started aging, and he died at 994 or 7 or something. Or 79, I can't remember. It was in his 900s. And I do remember some references, I think in either the Kabbalah or the Gnostics, that the Garden of Eden allowed you to be immortal. So with the calendars, if you lived 1,000 years, you would be on a different calendar because it wouldn't be the same as what we have down here, if that makes sense. So yes and no. And the like the zodiac, I literally have access to the other zodiac signs that you guys don't. It's not 12. There's more than 12. But it goes off of the calendar you're living, which I should probably make it, but I don't know exactly how many zodiac signs there are. I just know there's a lot. So yeah, when you get into the higher celestial numbers, you're going to get into those.
Oh, okay. Because I only see pictures, and I just saw the astrology part. That's why I was asking. But Okay, good.
Oh,
Yeah,
on which picture?
I still believe there's more because we have so many dimensions in our life, but that's my
Right.
thought process. So that's how I believe, only because of my dimensional jumps. So, in the other worlds, they're always talking about how it's, is it the Hindi or Hindu, astrology, or is it Chinese astrology? And if there's already two, to me, this is my math doing it in my head. If there's already two, that means there's more than two.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask when it says the practical uses of the 1212. It says, I think in the third rule, the third the sentence, I think it says spark in spark form and spark form again. Can you explain that? Because I don't understand that part.
Okay.
It's under
Where was
practical
that?
ritual with the 1212. It's
Oh, practical
number
ritual.
2.
So,
It says spark to form, again spark to form. What does that mean?
I think that was the cadence that you were talking about, where you said spark, form, is what she's talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So it would be the cadence of 1, 2 to 12, 1, 2 to 12, or 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 equals 6. Those are cadences that would equal the 12.
I still don't understand.
So when you practice the practical ritual with 1212, so gaze at the number 1212 or written sigil. Okay, so it's a 1212. Speak aloud, spark to form, again spark to form, or you can do 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 equals 6, which 6 times 2 equals 12 because 1212 is 2. So do you see how the math works?
I
So,
understand what you just said, but I'm just trying to understand why it says form, back to form, back to form.
well,
Is
it's
it
like a
something that you're
lighter.
saying in your mind, or is it something you're saying out loud when you say 1 to 2, 1 to 2?
Well, say it how it resonates. If you feel you got to do it in your mind, but if it doesn't work, try it out loud. It's different for everybody. But spark to form is kind of like a lighter. You got to light it, right? So spark, spark, spark until it lights. Spark to form, again, spark to form. You just want to look at it and it's telling you to speak out spark to form. So the spark is the first 12, and then you say again spark to form is the second 12. It's the pillars. So you're like creating your own door, your own portal way, the two pillars. So, and then you perform a twin gesture. So you'll clap, two claps, 2 steps, 2 breaths. Write your goal and action on 2 lines. So you can, again, number 2, you just speak out loud, spark to form. The pillars are a form, and you need 2 of them to make a door.
When you create these, are you creating these pillows in your mind? So you sitting to north, and are you
Yes,
creating those pillows in your mind? That's what. Okay, so you're not writing it
yes.
down
You
or
can.
anything.
You can write it down. Please don't make a physical door because I don't know how to get you back. Um,
Okay, so you're not drawing the physical door on piece of paper. Is that what it is?
it depends on how you ascend. Some people can do it on paper, others can do it on their mind. I'm pretty sure you can, like me, you can do it in your mind.
Yeah, I could do it in
Um,
mind. I just wanted
yes.
to understand because I wasn't getting that. I'm saying what spark to form mean. I don't understand what that word means. Just didn't make sense to
Imagine
me.
yourself as a giant and you're putting these pillars, but the spark is you snapping your finger, right? Whatever that spark looks like to you. In your
But
consciousness, it could be that the spark appears before the pillar appears, right? It's that flashing light, and then boom, there's a pillar.
yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, it's so funny because I had this experience. Everything I do is already like on a video. So it might have been like 2 or 3 years ago, and they showed me all of those, arches are time portals. And even like the Brooklyn Bridge is a time portal. And so, and I got a lot of my messages when I was like doing my hair. And I'm like, well, why are they telling me this? Like, why does this matter, you know? But I really
Even
listen
the
to that heaven.
archway, even the
Yeah.
arch, the St. Louis Arch. Yeah, they say, and if you look at it, they literally call it the Gateway to the West is the name of it, which I find really ironic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like, so I don't do homework like that. I just get the impressions and then I'll later on do the homework. And that's why anytime she talks, I see pictures. And that's why, and because I'm a jumper, I want to clarify why I'm asking these questions so that everybody else could understand what I'm coming from, because sometimes I ask too many dimensional things and people aren't at that state. But I know personally, I was told by the heavens that they're all gateways, that's why they build them. Because why would you just build this arch and there's nothing through there? Obviously the vibrations in the grounds, but they specifically told me certain ones. I'll have to go back to my video, but yeah, that's why when Trump decided to make this happen, I immediately told my sister, I was like, yo, that's a portal, and he's just recreating it so that it can get rid of the obelisk vibration so that people could start ascending. And now that this picture that she put up of the 12 and the pillars, you know, now I'm going to just say it's a confirmation for my messages from heaven. Yes, Mary, they bumped you off.
I saw that. They're like, no, we don't want you talking about that.
So anyway, I just gave my video. So there you go. We'll leave it at that.
Thanks.
You did get my question though, right?
Huh?
Did you get my question?
I didn't. No, I just got back on. What was the question, Rusty?
How Trump wants to make that massive 250-foot tall Independence Arch, and I've had an experience that they're all gateways and portals and just change vibrations, and I did a video about that like 2 or 3 years ago, and because I always see this picture right now is bringing me back to that thought, the 12 and the two pillars that it has, and there's a lot of those symbols that has arches in some of those symbols that they're showing over here. To me, I only think of that's one of the kind of gateways to our next enlightenment, and that's why they're deciding to make that happen in Washington, D.C.
Right. And I do believe there used to be one of the ancient arch doors there. Because remember, a lot of them got taken down. We kind of see them in Rome.
We can't hear you, Mary.
I think, again, he wants to...
Mary, can you hear us?
Save his soul and his family's soul.
Yeah,
so he's...
Yeah, see, they don't want her telling us all this.
They don't want it to tell us. I know, because you know what? I'm just like a commoner that listens. Can you hear us?
So I do believe, and I mean, he's making a ballroom. And what better way than to have people drop in? Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Earth to Mary. Oh. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she's off.
Yeah, she got jumped off. And that's why I always think it's like very fishy for that stuff. And I have to tell you, I never want to do these videos that I'm like, why are they telling me to do this? So it's only my diary to like show you where my development is. And it's nice to get a confirmation. And that's why I love talking to Mary, because we'll go out for hours. Mary, are you back?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we got something. The only parts I heard is that, yes, that Trump's trying to, I guess, correct his karma and fix some of those things. And the portal itself has some vibration over there in D.C. We couldn't hear anything else you said.
Yeah. I just said the ballroom needs, an audience. So what better way to bring in an arch door?
Exactly. He wants to make it to 250 feet, though. He wants to make that's pretty high.
Well, the old ones were pretty high. I mean, we were a lot bigger back then in our past. So, Maybe if the giants are going to come through it, they can't go through a small door. They'd have to eat mushrooms like Alice in Wonderland.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. You know, it's a good show to watch. There's a good show, and it's only one season. I don't know why they didn't continue it, but it was on Amazon. It's called The Peripheral. And anytime that they needed to go into that dimension, they would put the virtual glasses on. It was like a video game. And when they would land into that virtual reality existence or city, they had huge, huge statues, just like in Jupiter Ascendant, when you were going into their castle, they had those huge, like 250 feet statues, and they also had their bodies waiting there, and they would jump into their bodies, and obviously they would move their avatar. But that's a great visual because they showed a lot of those pieces in that world, like what Washington, D.C. looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's bigger than that. It's underground, so I wonder if they did the mud floods to try to save themselves from the flood itself. There's a thought.
Yeah, I went into a Loki thought yesterday and started talking Loki crazy. And there's a thought. It is. It's probably good.
That would make sense. So let's move on to the 24-hour double digits. They do feel different, talking from personal experience, being in the military, in operational context. So the civil clock, or civilian clock, 1:01 a.m., is equivalent to the 01:01 hours. This is called leading zero, guarantees 4 digits, eliminating AM, PM, ambiguity in radio traffic and computer logs, per international organizations for standardization. Another example would be 113. That would equate to 1313 hours in military clock. After 1300, the clock is already in the second half day, repeating pairs 1313, 2323, mark positions inside an active duty cycle rather than a quiet night watch. So operational versus esoteric role. So perspective, mission, logistics, military, EMS, aviation. What the repeated pair signals. Error proofing and cadence. 4-digit groups with internal symmetry are easy to copy, repeat, and confirm over noisy channels. Report status at 1515 is less likely to be misheard than 315. So chronobiology of shifts. Many units rotate on 12, 8, or 6-hour schedules. Times like 0606, 1212, and 1818 end up near handoff windows, built-in moments for quick sit reps or roll calls, which I'm used to. Roll call. Numerological framing, your mirror alchemy lens. The double pair sits in a 24-step wheel, 2 full 12-node circuits. Hours 1313, 2323 mirror their AM twin 0101 or 1111, suggesting second pass integration. The lesson seated in the night, which is yin, is acted upon the day of yang. Reading the new set through twin pillar template. Pattern of 1x, 1x, so whatever the number is after that. Spark form repeated under solar light. Digital root. So 1 plus whatever the number is, and you just keep doing that. So you'll get 1313 equals 8, 1414 equals 10, 10 to 1, etc. The code, so we'll go through the codes. 1313 is mid-shift cross-check after lunch, perimeter walk-around. These are tactical reality checks. The mirror alchemy whisper is double emerald lens. Take creative plans drafted overnight and I iterate live. Sorry, there's a mosquito on my face. 1414 mirror number. The tactical reality is early afternoon sync equipment heat load check. The mirror alchemy whisperer is solar cube, stabilized structures being tested in real world glare. 1515, peak activity, traffic, and dispatch spike. Esoteric mirror is Azoth pulse, spirit fire meets matter friction, keep purpose clear. 1616, shift handoff prep, data roll up. Mirror alchemy, shield mirror, wrap results, reflect feedback before passing baton. 1717, evening briefing, asset relocation. The alchemy whisper is chariot vector, move resources towards rest positions smoothly. 1818, formal shift change, 1800, just settled, new crew acclimates. Infinity embrace, loop fresh energy with yesterday's lessons. 1919, night ops planning, visibility drops. Phoenix lantern, ritual close of solar tasks, ignite night vision. 2020, radio test after Zulu day rollover, which UTC equals 0000. Grand Gate, void resets, intention seeds for next 24-step arc. 2121, quiet patrol, stress decompression. The mirror is nested mirror, knit body mind, coherence for dream ingress. 2222, log cutoff for daily SI trep. Encryption keys rotate. The quad pillar, fortified psychic boundary guard astral perimeter. 2323, final gear check, light out on base, midnight architect, in liminal silence. Or I'm sorry, blueprint tomorrow in liminal silence. So what about 0101 or 0202, so on and so on, all the way to 1111? Those AM doubles sit in the yin half of the day, 24-hour loop. Good for intel download. So it wouldn't just be intel download for military. So if some of you follow the military clock and you've never been in the military, you could be getting downloads, from heaven. Be careful who you get the downloads from. Always face true north. Do a muscle test to make sure they're, from your higher self or heaven. You really don't want to get downloads from other creatures. I'm dealing with somebody who's literally getting downloads from somebody not so good, but it's free will, so I can't stop them from doing it. So good for intel download, visioning, maintenance, and dream work. When a responder hears 0404, hours on the ops plan is often corresponds to a scheduled silent hour for machinery reset, a target time to cross a border before dawn light. From a military alchemy view, these lay the feminine substrate that the afternoon codes manifest. So the key takeaway for practitioners, some geometry, different altitudes, a pair like 1313 still encodes spark form /spark form, but it carries a mission ready solar charge rather than the introspective tone of 0101. Built-in redundancy saves lives. The military's love of the patterns isn't mystical first. It's about cutting radio errors and chaos. The symmetry you sense spiritually also happens to be the most audible under stress. You can layer both lenses. Log and op note at 1515 Yang, which is masculine, Azoth pulse to integrate the team. Debrief the night at 0515, which is yin, Ozoth pulse to the alchemized lessons. Use the operational clarity of the 24-hour clock as the outer scaffold and let the mirror number wisdom weave the inner intent in the field or in ceremony. Double digits become your precision timestamp and your alchemical bells calling you to act, integrate, and elevate in perfect cadence. I really resonate with the poster on this. Again, I was in the military, but structure has always been my thing, and the 4-digit numbers do illuminate with me as well. So military time mirror code is the 24-hour double sequence, operational precision, synchronicity, and higher purpose. Why 24-hour time eliminates AMP and confusion, 4-digit clarity, standardized worldwide. It is a worldwide time, which would also indicate worldwide mathematics. The pattern 1 or 1 times 1 times 1, spark, form, twin pillar rhythm, action, reflection, integration. Esoteric role. These times act as energetic portals and codes. They help you align, act with purpose, and elevate consciousness in the flow of time. Operational role reduces errors, improves comms, builds cadence, supports mission, flow, handoffs, and accountability. So again, in your own personal life, people who have severe OCD actually resonate better with military time than they do the other time, only because it has the form of cadence. Somebody that has a lot of chaos in their life, we talk about different soccer moms, that aren't organized. They're usually late, stuff like that go off of the regular timeline. But usually the ones that I've ever seen, again, came from military and law enforcement, went off military time, so everything was usually pretty tight knit. So I resonated going into the military because I was already acclimated. So 2 12-hour circuits, the Yin and the Yang, the second circuit, 13-13, 23-23, is the daytime integration and manifestation of what was seated in the first. So it shows the moon and the sun there, shows the cycle, the moon below the sun, meaning shifts. So everything shifts, just like polarity in the earth. Second circuit, so this will tell you, more of the esoteric meanings, both masculine and feminine. And then it gives the sigils, the esoteric meanings, and sigils on the feminine. Actually, I'm not sure why it didn't show it on the masculine, but. And then there's the time is a spiral, meaning is a choice. The numbers in there, but it does have the sacred geometry in it. The noon gate, military has a lot of gates, and they do refer to them as clock gates. So that could be significant for the pillars as well. So it would be interesting, Rusty, to see if, the news mentions that it's at like the 4 o'clock, whatever, to the White House. So that would be the 0400 gate. So what would that open? That would be something to kind of look into. Digital roots reduces the single digit. It reveals the underlying frequencies, creativity, expression, and expansion. Has the twin pillars. Military are more successful than civilians as a unit because everybody is working in sync and in cadence. So again, if the house is working in sync and in cadence, everything flows. If it's not, like mine, it's chaos. Kids are everywhere. You need like 5 nannies for 1 child. Why first responders and military use this system? Clarity under pressure, shared language, missing timing, chain of command. Lives depend on perfect communication. These codes support precision and unity. Remember, numbers don't control you. They communicate with you. You decode, you decide, you create. Every time is a code. Every code is a calling. See it, align it, live it. I love that. And then it has that cool compass.
I think we need a T-shirt. That would be a good T-shirt. My sister was a police officer, so I can resonate with a lot of this, with the numbers, how she talked.
No, and it is really cool. I like I said, that it was neat to kind of see that in those meetings for the military time, because I sometimes it's annoying, because it almost seems like you're repeating in the military, but you don't realize that there's an actual esoteric reason behind it until you start waking up, and then you start to see it. You're like, whoa. And then bases are also made, in time frames. So back in the day, they weren't all square walls, they were round, and they surrounded the castle, which was a time. The tower was at a certain point of the, what do you call that clock on the ground? The sundial.
I was going to say the sundial.
Yeah, the sundial. Yeah, so they would go off of the tower would be, a certain motion of the sundial. That's why they had pictures and stuff where they had the zodiacs around the sundial. They had some kind of symbol around the sundial, so it would be it'd be the sun tower, it'd be the moon tower, it would be the medical tower. It was based off of the sundial, where the towers and what certain walls were.
Yeah, that's why I was pulled into as an experiencer. I was pulled into Grand Central Station. They have a whole big feeling of it, and there's also one of the Vanderbilt homes has the sundial in there with the whole astrology wheel. Very interesting how the elite have all that in their homes.
Yep. So any questions about the 24-hour clock? I could answer it only with my experience, because I haven't dove into what that does yet. But I do believe it has a lot to do with a lot of the training I did and where I did it at. So again, they have the pillars, and they can pretty much put a pillar up in a second. Call them bridges, call them tents, call them whatever you want. But they had to be at a certain point. Everything had to be perfect, right? Your engineers, we couldn't just throw a tent up. It had to face a certain way. It was nuts. But it makes sense now. So, I wish I was just more disciplined now. But, yeah, I'm not going to try to hurry up and wait anymore. So if there's no questions, we'll go on to the 1, 2, 3. So if you guys want to get that visual up. So this resonates a lot with a few people, Shannon being one of them. So she always sees the 1, 2, 3. And so I decided that I wanted to check that one out against the creation sigil. And it's the initiation sequence. So in the layered geometry aspect, it's a simple ascending progression, 1, 2, 3, a growing line, a spark, structure, expression. The digital root, 1 + 2 + 3 = 6, which again is harmony, creativity, heart center, Tifereth. The felt sense is a green light nudge. You're being asked to take the next visible step, even if it feels small, and keep the rhythm. Alchemical use is to project planning, outline 3 action blocks, which also follows the Trinity. Breath work, inhale 2, 3 on the count, expand intention, manifestation, speak a goal in 3 quick clauses. I decide, I declare, I do, for example. Higher dimensional hint. In 3D, it looks linear. In 5D, it's a spiral ramp. Each spiral turn, 1, 2, 3, carries you 1 octave higher in frequency. Now, for the 3, 2, 1 is the launch. The geometry behind that is descending progression. So 3, 2, 1, narrowing final expression, structure, spark. Digital root, again, 3 + 2 + 1 = 6. Implosive, implosive instead of expansive. The felt sense is a moment of truth, compression. Energy gathers in the 1, so it can fire through 0 a new timeline. Alchemical use, decision gateway, 3, 2, 1, send the mail. Grounding exhale on 3, 2, 1. Drawing scattered energy back to center. Ritual seal. Speak a decree. Then close with 3, 2, 1, done. Higher dimensional hint. Acts like the spring before release. The yin pull gathers potential. The real action often sparks just after the sequence in the silent O point or 0 point. How they work together. 1, 2, 3, then 3, 2, 1. Warm up set, then commit. Rehearsal, live broadcast. Spiral outward, spiral inward. Locks the torus, circulates your chi. 3, 2, 1, then 1, 2, 3. Countdown to launch, then immediate forward steps. Rocket lift off pattern, which could be your feet, which could be that interview, which could be anything that you need. Count down with the 3, 2, 1 or the 1, 2, 3. Drop into 0 point, exit on a higher rung of the helix. Both codes reduce to 6. The number Pythagoras called marriage of heaven and earth. 1, 2, 3 shows the yang outward, masculine face of the harmony. 3, 2, 1 shows the yin inward face, feminine. Use them consciously and they become push and pull gears in your timeline engine. 1, 2, 3 expands, explores, and builds. 3, 2, 1 focuses, commits, and launch. So, and I love the poster. It's so colorful with all the vortexes and stuff. It makes me wonder, you know, what the codes are for tornadoes and stuff now. So the initiation sequence, ascending, expanding, and building. And the launch countdown, 2 sides of the same harmony. The launch countdown, descending, narrowing, focusing. So both reduced to 6. 6 is the vibration of balance, love, beauty, and service. Geometry, again, 1, 2, 3. Digital root, 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. Harmony and creativity. Heart center. The feminine is the geometry. Harmony, creation, and impulsive. Implosive instead of expansive. Felt sense, a moment of truth, compassion, energy gathers at the I, or at the 1, so it can fire through 0 into new timelines. So again, if you're done with the old one, it's almost like ricocheting yourself, well, like a little kid. How many of us watch children or remember us doing it? We go 3, 2, 1, go, right? So that's the energy that you can bring back to yourself, and with the confidence of a child. It was highly recommended. So don't be afraid to, you know, bring back the child in you. I mean, we all talk about how adulting sucks. So definitely bring back your child. Unless your child was chaos, maybe put that guy away. No, I'm just kidding. You just got to refine yourself. Felt sense, green light nudge, you're being asked to take the next visible step, even if it feels small, and keep the rhythm. That's the masculine. For the feminine, energy gathers at the eye. Oh, I just read that one. Sorry. So alchemical use, project planning, outline 3 action blocks, breath work, inhale 2 to 3 on the count, expanding intention, manifestation, speak a goal in 3 quick clauses. I decide, I declare, I do. Let's see, that's the masculine. Alchemical use, female, feminine. Decision gateway, 3, 2, 1, send the email. Grounding, exhale on 3, 2, 1, drawing scattered energy back to center. Ritual seal, speak a decree, then close with 3, 2, 1, and done. Higher dimensional hint for the masculine is 3D. It looks linear. 5D is a spiritual ramp. Each spiral turns 1, 2, 3 carries you on octave higher in frequencies. The higher dimensional hint acts like the spring before release. Then, or the yin pull gathers potential. The real action often sparks just after the sequence in the silent 0 point for the feminine. And then the countdown with the rocket. Again, both sides can use it. You got to come into balance with both your yin and your yang. Nobody needs to be, above anybody. Walk in equality. So C123, take the next step, break a task into 3 parts. Think, plan, act, share, move forward with trust. C321, pause, focus, narrow, count down, and commit. Release doubt, launch, return to the center. Examples 1, 2, 3, start a project, write the outline, take action. 3, 2, 1, finish, review, finalize, and send. 1, 2, 3, learn, practice, teach. 3, 2, 1, integrate, live, embody. Right on target. Right on, right on. 1, 2, 3 to build, 3, 2, 1 to launch. Use both master rhythms, create in harmony with time, digital root reminder. You are always coming home to harmony. Kick anybody out that doesn't let you be in peace. So putting it all together. Triangle Sigil Mastery 101. Isn't that funny? We're talking about the numbers. Below are the handful of meta principles that tie every chart you've received, your own and everyone else's, into one coherent practice. Think of them as the operating manual for the triangle sigil. So again, you can get any triangle that you resonate with. You can use them. They're points of arrows. They're on a compass. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the compass. One triangle, many cycles. The sigil isn't a static talisman. It's a moving gear set. Anytime you map 3 numbers into the points you've created, a mini circuit, each pass pumps energy clockwise, ascends the frequency 1 octave. How to apply it? When a point of the triangle lights up, e.g. you glimpse 77, run the other 2 points consciously to complete the circuit. This keeps energy from arcing or stalling. Point order always matters. The sequence we've given, point A to point B, point C, follows the natural flow of initiate, integrate, manifest. Reversing it invites a dismantling cycle. Use the clockwise order when you want to build. Reverse if you intentionally need to clear, deconstruct before rebuilding. Digital root, the hidden gear. Reducing multi-digital numbers to 1 through 9 tells you which of the 9 seraphitic chakra frequencies is steering the whole triangle at that moment. Example, Tony's 84 reduces to 3, meaning his legacy phase is powered by creative life force. In ritual, you can sing or drum to unlock that phase faster. Just examples. Polarity framing the current. Yin stance pulls energy into the sigil. Visioning seed work. Yang stance pushes it out. Action broadcasting. Before any working decide, am I receiving or radiating? Posture, breath, and color visualization. Silver, blue versus red and gold will follow. Shadow lessons travel with code. Each number's shadow, overthinking, avoidance, and performance, etc., the counterweight that keeps the triangle balanced. Ignoring it causes repeating loops, so you get stuck in Groundhog's Day. When a shadow pattern surfaces, treat it as the triangle's maintenance. Light pause the ritual, address the pattern, resume the cycle. Record, recycle, refine. Your nervous system learns by pattern density. Documenting, citing feelings and actions turns stray synchronicities into trackable data. Keep a running log, paper or digital, review weekly, spot cluster dates. Note which action produces smooth outcomes. Refine your personal response kit. Group triangular hexagrams. Overlay 2 people's triangle, and you get a 6-pointed star. Shared field, each person point A field, the others point B. In teamwork or relationship work, place your triangle over one another on paper. Identify the interlocking points. Schedule conversations, activities when both people's point B phase are active. Timing beats intensity. A tiny step at the right moment carries more charge than a huge ritual at a random time. Use the clock code 0101-1313-2222 to timestamp decisions, launches a release. This harmonizes micro action with micro geometry. Safeguard the 0 point. Between the last point of one cycle and the first point of the next, there's a silent 0. That pause prevents burnout and information overload. Trust me, you don't want the information overload. I've had 2 brain aneurysms and they suck. So after finishing a triple sequence, take a tech-free pause, walk, breathe, nap. Let the field settle before starting the next spin. And I still do fall asleep, just so you guys know, while doing some of this stuff. Like, I'll be so tired, I just can't, I have to sleep. So that's the best thing you can do. Don't push through it because it's a download. You're downloading and your body needs to rest while it does that. So don't fight it. Don't try to like go get a Red Bull or something. Just do what you can. Quick ritual template, universal to any triangle. Signal, a triangle number appears, clock, receipt, dock length, etc. Identify which point of your or their triangle is it. Stance, yin receive or yang radiate. Choose posture and breathe accordingly. Micro act, perform the matching anchor action. Speak, plan, build, serve. Log and pause. Note the outcome, then honor the 0 point before resuming life. Okay, now the compass. The compass is awesome. I've talked about the compass before. The sacred compass, the triangle is a compass, not a cage. It points you towards truth, alignment, and service. You are free to choose any path. The north purpose is your higher self. I say that every time I get on here. Point B integrates, understand, align, and refine. Point C, manifest, create, serve. Basically, during an ascension, what you're doing from the moment you start to wake up and you realize it, you're recalibrating your consciousness. So these are, the triangle acts as the first consciousness barriers that you come to, like your all-see or your third eye. So again, don't be afraid of the eyes, because if you are, don't say you have a third eye, because that's just weird. When you open your third eye and you start to remember things, your internal compass is literally calibrating to the back of your head in these sequences. This compass in this picture acts as your skull, okay? And your brain is in the middle of this. So point B and point C is activated by your point A in the consciousness sequence. So what you're doing is you're starting to clear your north, which is your purpose, your number 42, your west, which is your wisdom, your east, which is your action, and your south, which is your grounding. So when we go grounding, we're not going to lay on our face, right? We're literally going to lay on our back, so that the back of our head is grounding to the earth. And our east and our west are our actions. So we're thinking of wisdom, and before we get up from grounding, that is the action. So the compasses back in the old times were probably more sacred than anything else, because not all compasses pointed north. Some compasses pointed to portals. Some compasses pointed to dimensions. They were very specific. They show you that in some of the movies. I'm trying to think of that one with Captain Jack Sparrow. He had that compass that never pointed anywhere except for what he wanted. Those were those compasses too. And you can make those if you know the secrets. So,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah. Thank you. So the 3 directions, every triangle has 3 sacred directions. And this is kind of where the Star of David also comes in. So the compass right here, the triangle in this compass, it's showing pointing upward, which is also known as pointing to heaven, and the one pointing down is earth. So when you connect with heaven and earth, it will look like the star. That is what the Star of David really is. It is your connection to the heavens. I have an 8-point star. So I have achieved it all the way to that. I have always been able to connect with the heavens. Again, I wasn't as, brainwashed out or mind swept as much as other people because I was supposed to be taken over and they wanted to make sure my brain was in better alignment than, if that person was just taken over, just a random person. So you want to be in your initiate, see the vision, receive the spark, integrate, seek the truth, align, and prepare. Manifest, take inspired action, create, and serve. The compass principles, number 1, it points, it does not prison. Guides without controlling. You cannot control your conscious. Your conscious, however, can control you if you're not careful. You choose the path. Free will steers the journey. Alignment is the true north. Return to love, truth, and balance. How to navigate. See the sign. A number appears. Notice and honor it. Feel the directions. Which point is active? What is it asking? Take the step. Do the alignment. Action for the point. Return to center. Pause, breathe, honor the 0 point, begin a new cycle. Remember, triangle is a living compass. It orients you to your soul's highest path. It adapts as you evolve. It expands through love and service. So yin receives, open, listen, allow, breathe in the vision and wisdom. Yang irradiates, they act, share, offer, breathe out your gifts and light. Guiding light, intuition, trust the inner knowing, discernment, choose what serves, courage, take the next right step, gratitude, acknowledge the journey. Guide by the triangle, free in the journey, anchored in love. You are the traveler, the compass is within you, the destination is your becoming. This is where you get to find out who you are and why you're here. So all of these numbers will lead you to your number 42. And if you haven't written this down, and I haven't said it enough, it will tell you who you are and why you're here. I can't tell you that because, everybody has been told by esoteric people, and they tell you they've been told. They're like, oh, I've been told I'm a reincarnated this. Don't let other people tell you who you are. You need to know who you are. So, because you're the only one that knows. They've told me I was a bunch of different things. But the looks on their faces when I met spiritual people who could see the different colors of my auras, and they freaked out, and all of a sudden now I needed to be protected and locked in a tower or put on an island somewhere, tells you you're not who they're saying you are. They know who you are. You need to find out who you are because they're not going to tell you the truth. If you get high enough in this sequence, your energy can command the truth. So this chart just shows you for the first part of the waking up what it looks like in your brain. Your brain, even though it's a soft tissue, it has the compass already in it, and it's up to you to recalibrate it. Don't be afraid of knowledge. Don't be afraid of what bad people have done with this knowledge. They all have the same opportunities. It's your turn to grab your opportunity. So, and your compass is your guide. The triangle is your guide. So, any triangle that you want to make, you can make it on AI, balance it with yourself, print it out, carve it. I don't know what everybody's specialty is, but the triangle is going to help you. And again, even the Gnostics carry around the triangles all the time. So they're not afraid of it because they know. So if the money serves you and you need more of it, there is a triangle on there. Learn to harness it. Figure out what the numbers are. Do a stepped ritual if you need more money. But again, when you do stuff like that in the 3D, you're accepting Lucifer's kingdom because this is his kingdom right now. So try to manifest higher and actually manifest your bills being paid. Don't ignore them because they don't go away and then the 3D get mad. So we don't want anybody going to jail or court or anything like that. So just keep up on the payment, learn to manifest the bill being paid, and don't question where it came from. Don't be in fear that someone's going to come after you because then you'll also manifest the reaction. So do be careful. Try something small. Credit cards are usually small. Or start with a pen. 5 blue pens. Manifest 5 blue pens. And they will show up somewhere in your house. So I know I've done it because I bought 50 pens for my daughter. And when I need a blue one, I will manifest 5 and I will find them the next day. See, the hawk is screaming in the background. He's like, too much, too much. So I think that is it for the numbers. Yep, we're all the way down. So any questions on all of that?
I think we need to process it.
Right? Woo! It is a lot, but again, I mean, it's worth it. You're worth it. You guys are all worth it. Just find it deep inside yourself and don't listen to everybody else. They've been put there because when your soul came down here, they were like, hey, what level do you want to try this at? We have easy, medium, or, hard. But as I've said before, if life was good, would you make changes? No, you wouldn't. So we need all these lower level beings, these lower gene sequences to give us that nudge to make that change. It is a roller coaster ride. Parts of it are difficult, but the majority of it is exciting. I am excited to see what happens. Even if the cult of Baal try to kill me at the court, I'm excited. I'm right there. So it's like scary exciting at the same time. So I don't feel like anything's going to happen.
We all sent our balls out there by just even being on here. So I'm set. I'm ready to go.
Right?
When I put a video out, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm crazy. But that's fun at the same time. So it's a good diary.
It is. You're just putting it publicly out there for others to follow. So, and I'm not trying to reach numbers. I'm not trying to be, a gangster, whatever you call it, disclosure speaker. I just want to find the people that need me right now. And then again, my videos will circulate later when, we're ascending upward.
Well, I appreciate all your time and everything, Mary, because when there's so many charlatans running around, and everything that you're teaching us is to better ourselves, you don't benefit from that personally. So I appreciate all you do for the collective and for all of humanity.
Aw, well, thanks. I do benefit, though, not financially or anything like that. I benefit because even if I save one person, that's still a benefit to me. There is no good and there is no bad. There's just a cause. So you have to find out what your cause and your actions are. So, but I appreciate everybody, that's here and wanting to learn. Well, yeah, I 100% appreciate you guys. And like I said, I'm being pulled to put all this out here. It may not resonate right away, but eventually it will. It'll start clicking. So don't give up on it. Save whatever, I can give you. And again, I take the forbidden knowledge and I transition it so that way it's not harming you guys and keeping you in the 3D, but I change it against the creation sigil for the 5D ascension. So all this information is part of the forbidden knowledge, but in the positive way. So I hope these helped. Again, write any questions in the group or private message or anything, and I'll try to help as much as I can. But again, the numbers resonate different for everybody, but we can definitely help guide each other. So if you're feminine, work on your femininity before you try to tap into your masculinity. If you're masculine, same thing, work on your masculine before you tap into the feminine. And just find balance in both. And the Ascension isn't as a rough ride. Okay, well, if there's no other questions, I'm going to get going because I think my phone's at 1% now. It's going to hang
All
up on
right,
me.
thank you. Yes, because just tell me what you want to do with it, and I will follow up with you, and I'm sure I'll talk to you later. So thank you, everybody, too, and
Yeah.
I will talk to you guys probably next week, but I'm sure I'll talk to you, Mary.
Once again, thank you for watching and listening, and press like and subscribe, and I will see you next week.